Leaving Cert Higher Level Maths, Question 1, 2016, Section A, Question 3, Part A and B. If f of x is equal to 2 over e to the power of x, and g of x is equal to e to the power of x minus 1, where x is an element of the real number set. Complete the table below, write your values, correct to 2 decimal places where necessary. So we start off with the function 2 over e to the power of x, and we substitute in our x values in place of the x in the power. So we substitute in our x values, and we get 2, 1.21, 0.74, and 0.5. Then we take the function g of x, which is e to the power of x minus 1, and we swap the x in the power, again for each of the x values. We end up with 0, 0.65, 1.72, and 3. In the grid on the right, use the table to draw the graphs of f of x and g of x in the domain x values greater or equal to 0, less than or equal to log 4. Label each graph carefully. So here's our x and y axis. In part 3, use your graphs to estimate the value of x for which f of x is equal to g of x. So we plot our points. So our g of x points are done in green. So that's 0, 0, 0.5, 0.65, 1, 1.72, and then log 4 gives us 1.4, so 1.43. And then our red dots are our f of x points. So 0, 2, 0.5, 1.21, 1, 0.74, and 1.4, 0.5. So we see this is the point at which they intersect, and it is approximately 0.7. So the two graphs intersect at approximately 0.7 on the x-axis. Solve f of x equals g of x using algebra. So we have 2 over e to the power of x is equal to e to the power of x minus 1 over 1. We're going to cross multiply. 2 multiplied by 1 is 2, and e to the power of x times e to the power of x minus 1 gives us e to the power of 2x minus e to the power of x. So this part here we get from our rule, multiplying the powers by the same base, we add the powers. So x plus x is 2x. Next we bring everything over the left of the equal sign, so we get e to the power of 2x minus e to the power of x minus 2 is equal to 0. We're going to rewrite this as e to the power of x raised to the power of 2, and we still have minus e to the power of x minus 2 is equal to 0. So now we have something squared minus something minus 2 is equal to 0. So we can factorize and solve. At this point you could let y equal to e to the power of x, but then just make sure if you do that, then at the end you rewrite your y as e to the power of x and solve for x. So factorizing, we get e to the power of x minus 2 times e to the power of x plus 1. So this is 2, so our factors are just 1 and 2. This is a minus, which tells us our signs have to be different. And this is really minus 1 e to the power of x. So minus 2 plus 1 gives us minus 1. So e to the power of x minus 2 equal to 0 gives us e to the power of x equals 2. So x is equal to log 2, which is 0.693. E to the power of x plus 1 is equal to 0, so e to the power of x is equal to minus 1. So x is equal to log minus 1, the natural log of minus 1, which will not work because we cannot have a natural log of a negative number. So our only answer is x is equal to 0.639.